Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one. Today, I'm going to recap a 2022 action thriller TV series called Reacher. A quick warning, there will be major spoilers ahead. At midnight, a man later identified as Pete Jobling is shot dead just outside Margrave, Georgia. The following morning, Jack Reacher arrives on a Greyhound bus and walks into town, where he is arrested at a diner for the murder. He is sent to be held in the local prison with Paul Hubble, a banker who falsely confessed to the murder. Spivey, a crooked guard, puts them in with the general population, where Reacher brutally foils an attempt on their lives.
A pair of glasses.
Hubble explains he confessed to cover for a criminal organization that would have otherwise killed him and his family. After being released, Reacher is verbally threatened in town by the son of local businessman Kleiner. When he later returns to the police station, he is informed about a second killing. At the morgue, a discussion about both the recent murder and another one earlier in the week leads him to identify the first victim as his older brother, Joe. Reacher teams up with Finlay, the local police captain, and a cop named Roscoe to investigate his brother's murder and the recent disappearance of Hubble following his release from custody. Finlay's boss, Ed Morrison, is gruesomely murdered at his home. Reacher deduces that he was killed for not taking care of Hubble. The mayor, Grover Teal, himself dirty, appoints himself as police chief and orders Finlay to conduct a sham investigation into Morrison's death. Finlay's friend, FBI agent Picard, agrees to take Hubble's wife and children into unofficial protective custody. Reacher sets a meeting with Spivey but gets ambushed by two South American ex-soldiers, allowing Spivey to escape.
He who hesitates.
Roscoe then takes him to a bar, where Reacher begins to open up about his past. While driving home, they learn that the road is washed out and are forced to spend the night sleeping in the same motel room. Roscoe returns home to find evidence of a break-in. At Reacher's urging, she gives him a gun. The group contacts Joe's colleague, Molly Beth, at the Secret Service, learning that Joe was in Margrave on a confidential assignment to investigate reports of large-scale counterfeiting. Reacher intimidates one of Kleiner's lawyers for information on Jobling while Finlay checks Spivey's house for clues, and gets beaten by police after they mistake him for a burglar. The two men then visit Kleiner in person. Kleiner claims he knows nothing and makes threats to drop the investigation. Reacher convinces Roscoe and Finlay to move out of their homes temporarily. While buying supplies, Roscoe is approached by Kleiner's son KJ, who warns her that Reacher is a murderer. Reacher himself is again ambushed by the ex-soldiers, but this time manages to kill them. He then finds Spivey's corpse in their car trunk.
Hello, Spivey.
After meeting with Finlay, Reacher takes Roscoe to help him dispose of the bodies. He also reveals the truth behind KJ warning. While serving in Iraq, Reacher killed 3 civilian men who were sexually assaulting a group of young boys.
I was ready.
After the evidence is dumped at an Atlanta airport, Reacher pays for a hotel room, and he and Roscoe wind up having sex that evening. The next day, they visit the home of a former Kleiner employee and find empty air conditioner boxes that Reacher suspects were used to move the counterfeit cash. Picard gives them a lead on the motel Joe stayed at before he was killed. Reacher finds a hidden note before he and Roscoe are jumped by more mercenaries. Roscoe saves Reacher's life.
You just killed my cousin.
And Reacher admits that he put himself in danger to protect her. Molly Beth arrives in Atlanta with Joe's files on the case, but someone kills her and steals the files, seconds before Reacher finds her. Feeling guilty for Molly Beth's murder, Reacher takes out his frustration by attacking KJ after he vandalizes Roscoe's truck.
That little cock tease.
Kleiner declines to press charges. Roscoe learns that Teal has fired her for subpar police work. Desperate for new leads, Reacher finds a key and trunk left by Roscoe's deceased former boss Gray, containing research that confirms Reacher's suspicions that Margrave is the heart of Kleiner's counterfeiting operation, but with no usable evidence. Traveling to Memphis, Reacher meets with his old comrade, private investigator Francis Neagley, to find a hitman who may have been Joe's murderer. After Roscoe punches Teal upon learning that he murdered Gray, Finlay gets her out of town by having her replace Picard as the Hubble family's bodyguard. Reacher and Neagley survive an attempt on their lives by a desperate Memphis cop whose family was threatened.
You do not mess with the special investigators.
Finlay breaks into Kleiner's office only to find that Kleiner has just been killed. Finlay and Reacher follow one of Kleiner's trucks. Finlay tells Reacher the real reason he came to Margrave was not due to divorce, but because his wife Sharon died after a long illness. After finding the truck empty, Reacher goes to New York City to meet with one of Joe's contacts, Professor Kate Castillo, having found that another contact had been murdered under the guise of being mugged. He determines that Kleiner had been shipping counterfeit money to a client in Venezuela, using superbills made from the specialized paper used in printing dollars. Assassins find Roscoe and Hubble's family, but Roscoe dispatches both men in the woods. While waiting for Picard, Hubble's wife Charlie shares the details of their involvement with Kleiner, explaining that Paul was tricked into laundering money and was then forced to watch a man be crucified to ensure his loyalty. Reacher arranges for Castillo to get police protection and uses his necktie to strangle an assassin sent to kill her. Officer Stevenson and his pregnant wife are murdered by a hit squad seeking information about the Hubble family. Teal fires Finlay on a pretext the next morning. Reacher pretends to confide in the last Margrave officer, Baker, who Reacher believes is corrupt, sharing a fake plan to search Hubble's house. Finlay goes in person to inform Stevenson's parents of his death. The hit squad goes to Hubble's house, planning to kill Reacher, but he traps and kills them all, including Kleiner's nephew Dawson. Based on the information he's gathered, he realizes Kleiner was bleaching $1 bills to get the paper needed to print his money. Reacher checks in with Roscoe, who shares his discovery with Picard. Reacher helps Finlay evade mercenaries who track him to his motel due to his visit to the Stevensons. Reacher and Finlay return to Jobling's house, which has been burned to the ground. They search Jobling's parents' house and find boxes of counterfeit bills. They arrange a meet with Picard, but when they arrive, Picard is waiting with KJ and Teal. Revealing himself to be the one behind all the murders, KJ shows Reacher a live stream of a captive Roscoe and sends him and Picard to find Hubble. Reacher tricks Picard into stopping to fix a tire and shoots him. Picard is able to escape. Reacher immediately finds Hubble, who reveals he was working with Joe and Jobling, who feared that he would be murdered for stealing counterfeit bills. To stop Kleiner's operation, Finlay is being tortured at the precinct. Reacher rams and kills Baker and frees Finlay. Neagley arrives, and Reacher gathers weapons and torches Kleiner's factory with gasoline. Picard attacks Finlay, who manages to kill him with a hydraulic press. Roscoe subdues and handcuffs Teal before killing him. As the warehouse burns, Reacher splashes KJ with flammable chemicals and kicks him into the fire. A flashback reveals how Reacher's mother died after a long illness and gave Reacher his French grandfather's Coeduc heir.
Your grandfather's war medal. It takes bravery to do what's right, or bravery in the face of danger.
Roscoe gives Reacher her number and says to call her if he wants to, and tells him she plans to rebuild Margrave. Reacher tells her she should run for mayor, while Finlay decides to move back to Boston and start over. After burying the medal where Joe died, Reacher quietly walks out of Margrave and sticks out his thumb for a ride. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.